Hello everyone, it's Noah here, and today we're looking at the Blue Eyes Match structure deck and how to make a competitively viable deck with just 3 copies of the structure deck for just 1500 gems. Let's begin. Here is the deck list. Now, I think there were 2 different possible options to go with this structure deck. One of the options was to go for a more fusion-oriented strategy, playing Keeper of Dragon Magic and Polymerization to bring out these fusion monsters more often. But I just don't think these fusion monsters are strong enough to really contend with the current meta anymore. So my deck is going to be more reliant on making Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, and the fact that it cannot be targeted and cannot be destroyed by your opponent is pretty good against a lot of the decks that you'll see in lower ranks. And I do think this deck is pretty strong going up to like gold or plat at the very least. So it's pretty good for new players who doesn't really know how to play or just doesn't know how to play Blue Eyes. It's a great place to start. And again, it's just 1500 gems, so it's a really small investment. There are a lot of upgrades you can make to this deck as well, which I will talk about at the end of the video. Now let's go card by card so I can explain how this deck works, and then we'll get into some example games. At the end I will review the deck, give my suggestions on how to improve it, and let me know in the comments which deck you would like to see next. Let's begin. First off, of course, we have the Blue Eyes White Dragon. It is the heart and soul of the deck. A lot of our other cards relies on having Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field or in the graveyard, so you do have to play 3 on this field here. Then we have Sage with Eyes of Blue. You usually want it for the second effect by discarding it and making your effect monster into a Blue Eyes from your deck. But also if you just don't have a normal summon, this is a decent normal summon to get another Light Tuner, which would be White Son of the Ancient in this case. Now when this is sent to the graveyard, it will summon a Blue Eyes from your deck at the end phase. And it has a second effect where you can banish it to add a Blue Eyes from your graveyard back to your hand. This first effect I mentioned is really good. You usually want to summon this and then send it with Sage of Blue, so you can get 2 Blue Eyes out of one card. And the second effect where it recycles actually comes up on later turns, which you will see in today's games. Then we have King of D, which on normal summon you can discard a spell trap and add the Melody of Awakening Dragon here. Now, this card is kind of like an extra consistency tool, but I don't like the fact that you have to discard a spell trap because we're not playing that many, so if I was to make any like additions to the deck, this is probably the first one. Then we have Dictator of D, which is much nicer, because you can special summon it by sending the Blue Eyes from your deck to the graveyard, which also turns on all your other cards that requires a Blue Eyes in the graveyard. Then you can discard the Blue Eyes White Dragon or a card mentions it to target the Blue Eyes in your graveyard and special summon it, which allows you to just kind of special summon Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon from your hand, which we'll get into later. But it's just a really good way to just get this on the field, Blue Eyes in the graveyard, and if you have anything in your hand that needs summoning, this can get it out. Now I'm playing one alternative as a target to get from Melody of the Awakening Dragon. We have a lot of ways to get the Melody, so I'm only playing the few targets since they are very searchable. Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon is one of the very searchable ones, and it's an extra body that can destroy a card once per turn, but it cannot attack if it does that. And it's nice to have it as an extra option, but it's not really my main game plan. I'll just skip forward a little bit because another card to search with Awakening is Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, which is actually really strong. And now this cannot be basically when something is destroyed on the field, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon will summon itself from your hand or graveyard if you have regular Blue Eyes in rotation. And when it battles, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to your hand. This is a really good way to deal with a lot of the monsters, such as Mirror Jade, which you might run into quite a lot in lower ranks, especially. It's a really good way to out that because it makes sure that their effects doesn't trigger when they get destroyed, because they do not get destroyed, they get sent back to the deck in the case of an extra deck. Now I'm also playing one Dragon Spirit of Fight. Once again, this is a search target. Some of our effects can search this since this is always treated as a Blue Eyes card, and when summoned, it is able to banish a spell trap the opponent controls. This is just as a one-off to be able to out like any annoying spell traps or floodgates the opponent may be playing, but you wouldn't normally want to go into that. Now I'm playing 3 Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, and The reason I'm playing 3 copies instead of 1 like most of the others is that this is a little bit harder to search, just because the Melody of Awakened Dragon doesn't really get this card. And unlike Dragon Spirit of Fight, I do want to see this card basically every day. If I can draw it to my hand, a Dictator Tier of D is able to summon this from the hand, which would be great. But otherwise, it can be a little hard to get this out, but it is a really strong card. On summon, adds a polymerization or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, so we can search the Chaos form with this, which we will need for summon Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. And during the end phase, it will also add a Dragon monster as well. And it has a third effect where we can banish this card to give all of our Dragons 1000 attack permanently. So all 3 of these effects do come up and does make this deck quite more powerful. Now I keep mentioning Melody of Awakening Dragon, so I might as well just explain this here too. Which is to discard 1 card and add up 2 Dragon monsters with 3000 or more and 2500 or less defense from deck to hand. So this is a double search. It is quite costly against cards like Ash Blossom, so if you want to take this step to higher ranks, you will definitely want to play cards like Coldbark to protect this search spell. But this is a really powerful search spell that gets 2 of your pieces immediately to your hand. Now, this card is able to add Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon to the hand as well, which is the boss monster we have for this deck, which must be ritual summoned with Chaos form in this deck's case. There is other ritual spells you can play, but it is not available in the structure deck. But if you wanted to upgrade it, then they will become available as an option. This cannot be targeted and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent. And if it attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts double piercing damage, meaning that if it attacks a zero defense monster, for example, it will do 8000 damage as it has 4000 attack. And this can even be made to 5000 permanently with Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, which you will probably have in rotation. And then Chaos Form is a ritual spell that allows you to tribute your cards or banish a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard to summon the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. So you don't necessarily have to pay the cost, you might be able to just banish a Blue Eyes if you have multiple available in rotation. And we have the spell traps. Successor Soul is a really good interruption or board breaker, where we tribute one effect monster, then target an effect monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard, then summon a level 7 or higher normal monster from hand or deck, which is always going to be Blue Eyes White Dragon that we're summoning from this. It's a way to get to Blue Eyes White Dragon if you don't have it already, but it's also a great way to remove your opponent's stress from the board as it sends to the graveyard rather than destroy it. And of course it's a quick play spell, so you can set it and use it on your opponent's turn. It does have a downside that you can only attack with one monster during the turn you activate this card, so do be careful with that. Then we have the Ultimate Fusion spell. This fusion spell allows us to summon our fusion monsters by shuffling the materials from hand, field or graveyard into the deck. And this is a really good way to just add more threat to our end board once we're done with our combo. Or really good as a follow-up, like the top deck you can draw on turn 3 or 4. Then finally we have True Light, which makes our Blue Eyes White Dragons untargetable. And if it is destroyed, however, then all our monsters are going to be destroyed as well. So it is pretty risky to play this card. But it is pretty good, because once per turn you can bring back a Blue Eyes from your hand or graveyard, or set a spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon, which some of the good examples, we are playing 2 targets for this, which are the Ultimate Creature of Distraction makes the Blue Eyes monster we have unaffected, and when we summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, we get to set this card against everything is the second time. It's a pretty good way to protect the big boss monster that they may have like a weird out to. This makes them really, really unoutable. And we are also playing Destiny Rivals as a negate we can use Switch Speed, which is pretty good to disrupt your opponent's plays. For the extra deck, we are playing Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon as the fusion. I mean, we are playing 3 of all the possible extra deck monsters available to us anyway. But Tyrant Dragon is actually usually the fusion monster you'll want to summon. You can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. It is unaffected by traps, and if it battles, you can set a trap from your graveyard. So if you already use something like Destiny Rivals, you can get attacked. Another fusion summon you might make is Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. which is made by fusion summoning two Blue Eyes White Dragon and can also be made by essentially contact summoning, which means if you have two Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field, you can send them to J-Right and summon this without using fusion summon. It cannot be destroyed by battle, it can attack twice, and if it battles and the opponent was not destroyed, you can banish that monster. This does not target, so it is another way you can out untargetable monsters your opponent may have. For example, if they're also Chaos Max. If you finally have first of the dragons, you're probably not making this because I don't think this fusion spell can make it. But in case you do, because if you wanted to play the colonization, for example, it is unaffected by the effects of other monster effects and cannot be destroyed by battle, makes it pretty hard to out, but still dies to any spell trap and doesn't have enough attack stats to really justify something this guy, I think. Another card you'll probably make is this card, which is Highlighted Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. Now this requires two level 8 monsters to be overlaid, and once per turn you can detach a material, tribute any monsters from your hand or field to destroy an equal number of cards on the field. This allows you to essentially turn your monsters on the board into more removal. You can use it with, for example, let's say Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, and detach Jet Dragon as a material to destroy your opponent's cards, and then this will try to Jet Dragon again to summon Jet Dragon back to your field. This is like a pretty good combo you can do with combining these two cards together. And finally we have Azura's Silver Dragon. You're not really supposed to synchro summon with this deck either, but you definitely can, because you do have your level 1 tuners, of course, like White Stone of the Ancients and Sage with Eyes of Blue, which allows you to essentially make all your dragon monsters undestroyable until the end of the next turn, and they also become untargetable. In every standby phase, you get to bring back a normal monster from your graveyard, which is going to be another Blue Eyes White Dragon. But that's it for the deck profile, so let's get into some examples. Our first match is up against Sky Strikers. Now, they're going to go first here. They're going to start with Vector Blast. Now, they're going to fill their graveyard a little bit, then activate a Sky Striker Engage, searching for Widow Anchor. And they're going to continue the second Engage. They were pretty likely opening double engages just in hand, and search for Cyanos to make their combo. Then they're going to special the Cyanos by sending spell from their hand to the graveyard, and then use its effect to bring back Rose from the graveyard. And they're going to link these two into a Sky Striker Camilla. And they're going to set 2 and pass their turn. Now it's our turn, and our hand is actually looking pretty good here. I will start with the Melody of Awakening Dragons, and Jet Dragons to the graveyard in order to search for a Chaos Max and a Blue Eye. Now I can use Dictator of D and send the Blue Eyes from deck to the graveyard to summon itself. Then Sage of with Eyes of Blue can send Dictator of D to the graveyard to search for Abyss Dragon, which can search the Ritual spell. So even if you didn't hard open the Ritual spell or the Ritual Master, you would still be able to summon the Chaos Max Dragon, that they're doing here. Now here we're just going to go into the battle line and into Camilla. Camilla will activate its effect, but it cannot target the Chaos Max Dragon, which is why I attacked with the Abyss Dragon first, and then I can attack with the Chaos Max Dragon later. They're going to activate Widow Anchor, but it also cannot target the Chaos Max Dragon, so they won't be able to steal it, they'll just steal the Camilla. I don't want it to deal with its floating effect on the previous turns, or on the following turns rather, so I'm just going to let that go. They're going to now use Cyanos and then change Shark Cannon to get rid of our Jet Dragon from the graveyard. And actually they're just going to summon it to their field instead. And Cyanos will summon back Rose, then they also have another Cyanos in hand, so they will normal summon it, bringing back another Rose to the field, then linking them off into an Engage 0. However, Engage 0's effect also targets, so they're unable to target the Chaos Max Dragon. They'll just target their own monster and then run into our monster and surrender, because they just do not have an out to the untargetable, indestructible Chaos Max Dragon. Our second match is up against Hero. Now they're going to make us go first here. So we're going to start with Melody of Awakening Dragons, handing the White Stone to add the Chaos Max Dragon as well as the Jet Dragon. Then I can just use Chaos Form in order to sacrifice the Jet Dragon and make the Chaos Max. This is a very simple land board. Our hand wasn't that great, but was still pretty alright because of the Awakening. We're just going to set a successor soul just in case, and then use the White Stone effect to summon a regular Blue Eyes, turning our Jet Dragon on in the area. We just have some defensive big guys, but not too much interaction, so we're just gonna hope that this is good enough here. They're going to start with a Varus and then activate the Shadow Mist effect to add more cards to their hand. I'll just speed through their turn a little bit, which is just going to be a lone combo, but it is a pretty typical combo. Increase, get the other increase, Blaze Man to add the polymerization, and then link into Wonder Driver. Activate the polymerization to make Sunrise, and then Sunrise to activate to add Myrtle Fusion to their hand. Myrtle Fusion is going to fusion summon into Infernal Rage, and then that will activate the driver and Infernal Rage, adding that favorite hero and also setting a card. Now I cannot let favorite hero resolve because otherwise they can just send our monster to the graveyard. So I'm going to use Successor Soul here, sacrificing my Chaos Smash Dragon in order to make another Blue Eyes. They're going to continue their turn with activation of a polymerization, fusing their monsters into Shining Neos Finman. Now, Shining Neos Finman is going to destroy our field here with its effect, but that will trigger Blue Eyes Jet Dragon from my graveyard. They will go into battle and attack the Jet Dragon, but Jet Dragon's effect will return the Shining Neos back into their extra deck, so we are safe from any attack. Now, with the following turn, our job is actually really good here, because we can just use Sage with Eyes of Blue to send the Jet Dragon to the graveyard to summon an Abyss Dragon. This Jet Dragon will bring itself back in the future turn anyway. That will allow us to add Chaos Form, and then we can banish the White Stone of the Ancients in order to add back our Ritual monster, Chaos Smash Dragon. Activating the Ritual spell and banishing the Blue Eyes White Dragon from our graveyard, we're able to Ritual summon the Chaos Smash Dragon again to our side of the board, go into battle and attack, but they're going to use Elemental Hero's Spirit Neos in order to add the trap and also make itself indestructible by battle. They're just going to punch their other monster and then activate Jet Dragon in order to put it on the field. Now, I don't want to destroy the Link monster because it has an effect when it's destroyed, so I'm just going to send it back to the extra deck with the Jet Dragon and then punch it with Chaos Max to do some double piercing damage to their life points. They are running pretty low here. At the end phase, we're going to use Abyss Dragon to add another Chaos Max and pass our opponent. They don't really have much, so they're just going to run into our Abyss Dragon. Their monster can't be destroyed by battle, so we're just going to lose our monster, but that's actually not too bad for us because of this graveyard effect. Now, King of Thieves is a terrible draw because we have no spell traps in graveyard, but we can activate Abyss Dragon's graveyard effect to deal our monsters 1000 attack. They're going to use Favorite Contact in order to make Shining Neos again, and then activate the Shining Neos effect to destroy our field. However, Chaos Smash can't be destroyed, so we're still going to be able to run over the Shining Neos, thanks to that 1000 attack boost. That will also allow us to summon Jet Dragon back from our graveyard onto our field, and we can just hit in for 500 damage. I don't want to return it to hand because then they just have to get to add another spell trap with its effect, so I'm just going to hit it for some damage. I'm pretty happy with my board. They're going to use the Spirit's effect in order to get a regular Neos, and then use Increase to tribute the Neos and summon itself. Here they're going to go for a Fusion Destiny in order to fuse their monsters into a Dystopia, because my monster has a different effect than its original effect. They're going to use its effect to deal me some burn damage, and then use Denier's effect in order to get some attack dash run. They'll use Malicious, summoning another Malicious, and then linking them into the hit monster that we shuffled back into their extra. Oh, actually they're going for an Infernal Device here, but that actually doesn't do anything, so they will realize they just once again have no out to our Ritual monster and surrender. And we're back with the deck, and it did somehow strong showing, but it definitely has a lot of people. The deck doesn't have too much interruption beyond just putting up a hard to out die, and possibly something like Successor Soul or many of the other traps, but it is just kind of struggles against anything that is easily able to out Chaos Smash Dragon. Now, you might run into Mirror Jade quite often actually, because it's one of the 3 cards that you can get in the Returner or New Player event, and it is able to banish the Chaos Smash Dragon without targeting it. So to deal with Branded, you probably want to play some hand traps, most important of them all, Ash Blossom. Now, you can pick up this card in the shop with a bundle, which you can see here. And I would highly recommend any new players to buy this bundle because Ash Blossom is a card you'll run into any deck, so it's a very good investment. And you also get 10 packs for cheaper than the price of 10 packs, so you can also use that dust to craft any card you want. If you're looking for another bundle, I would say go for the Improvement in Permanence for the second one. It's also a very flexible card that you probably can run in any deck as well. And a lot of these bundles are good here, but those two I would say are the most relevant ones. Finally, a third card you can put in could be Max C if it's still legal. It's currently at 2 right now, so you can play Max C, but there is a chance that this gets banned in the future, in which case the best replacement will most likely be Mulcharmy Tuval. If you're wondering what to replace in this deck, as I said, I think the King of D is the most easily cuttable card from this deck, just because it already requires a discard in order to source the Awakened Jordan, and Awakened Jordan itself also requires a discard. It just costs a little bit too much, and I'm not a big fan of this card, so if you want to put hand traps like Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, and Maxi, then King of D can go. But yeah, overall, a lot of improvements you can make with this deck. This is just kind of a starter recipe to get you into Blue Eyes, but there can be many improvements that can be done. So let me know if you want to see an improved, more expensive, but meta relevant version of this deck in the comments below. Or do you want to see another cheap deck? I can also do that. So just let me know in the comments which one you would like. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, so if you could subscribe, that would be great. And I'll see you in another video. Peace.